this is cut out. Got that piece ready to go. So that fits in there pretty good. I'm just gonna make this little square right here, and then I'm gonna start welding and see if I can get this done today. And it's really, really, really cold out. What do you think? Hot? Good way to remelt it. So as you can see, those sides are done now. Not too bad. Those ones turned out decent. The small patch I was having a bit of an issue with because I couldn't keep a constant arc going. It kept sputtering. I don't know if maybe the contact I was using then wasn't as great. But they're all good. Okay, started working this corner now. First out, I cut this piece. So here's that whole thing. Wasn't looking all that great, so I cut that out. And then I started peeling everything back to see all the layers over here. It's fucking ridiculous. So if I'm understanding this right here is part of the rear pan. So this whole pan right here comes underneath of this and stops here. So after this stops, then you have the front pan right here, which then continues to the front. And they're layered on top of each other, a good inch, and then spot welded and seam sealed together. And then this cross member bar thing that supports the rear seats, this is then welded on top of the rear. And everything is seam sealed, which is kind of part of the issue. All that seam sealer just fucking holds water. This is all seam sealer right here. It looks just like rusty metal, but it's not. And it's just making this fucking strip right here all rusty. So that's not cool, because that means that that'll start doing what was happening over here. So I got as much of the rear pan off as I could back there. I actually just used a screwdriver and kind of kept hitting the metal like a chisel and was cutting through it, which was kind of neat. So I'm just gonna try and see where the good metal is. Most of this is decent. There's nothing terribly wrong with it. So I don't know. I'll have to see what I feel like cutting out and how far I feel like going. I don't know if anything changed. That's how much we gotta cut out though. So I'm gonna cut a little more, and then hopefully start making a panel. Okay, so I'm kind of getting in the mood of just not giving a fuck anymore and just trying to get this damn thing done. So I'm gonna try a different technique this time, and they are gonna be slightly overlapped instead of doing butt joints. And hopefully that should help me so that I can put more heat into it and not just constantly try to fill holes the entire time, because that takes way too fucking long. So if you notice, I'm doing it a little differently than the factory did for this part. I'm putting this underneath of the so the front is going underneath the back instead of on top. And I just hit all these down, and I might run a weld or I might not. I painted underneath them and then hammered them back down. Drilled the hole out for this. Got a bunch of plug welds ready to go. And same over here. Just a little bit of overlap. I might clean this up a bit, but I just want to fucking start putting shit down and getting this done. So I'm getting sick of it. Oh! So that's what it looks like down there. Lots of fun, really. Fuckity fuck. Alright, here's the second panel. Cute little thing right here. I'm probably just going to overlap here. I don't know. I don't really care anymore, you know? By the time I put the weld down and then grind it, everything should be just about pretty smooth, and this is going to be underneath the seat, so I really don't fucking care. I just want to fill in the holes and get this over with. Okay, this panel's all welded in. None of these plug welds stuck. They all popped up, so I'll have to grind them back down and try that again some other time when it's not 2 in the morning. So now all that's left is that little piece. Alright, time to weld this up. Got some plug welds. I'm going to drill out the paint real fast. Hopefully these plug welds will fit. There we are. I was getting some decent stuff over here. I don't know, depends on where it was. Some of them were pretty smooth and getting the right amount of heat. Some were building up a lot or a little cold. I don't know. Not the best, not the worst. It's getting there. So, this side right here is not nearly as bad. It's just a little tiny section, so I just kind of cut out a square piece and now it's time to put some stuff on it. Alright, tacked up. Let's put down some beads. There we have it. This panel is done. And the entire passenger area is done. Nothing left to do up front. Oh yeah. I'm so close. Now just for the cargo area. Come on. Okay, so started wandering to the back now. Just trying to figure out where the good metal is. It kind of sucks because of where it's at. I can't exactly just go cutting and welding because, you know, the gas tank is right here. But we're talking the filler neck is like right there. So, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do about that. I don't know if we're gonna do rivets and sealer if I can find the stuff I need, or if I put a shield around it and then try to weld it, or I don't know. But I'm just checking everything back here. We got some holes here and there. Some areas over here. There's a section here that was bad, so I just cut that out. So, I don't know. I didn't get to check the other side yet because there's just a lot of shit in the way. This will be the tricky part, just because I don't want to, you know, blow myself up. So, we'll see what I decide to do. Check that out. This panel turned out pretty good for the most part. This one, it started off really well. I started over in this corner. And if you notice, you can barely even see these. But they're really flat. You can kind of see a nice dime pattern going on there. Those turned out beautiful. I don't know what I was doing there, but man, I wish I could do that some more. And just throughout this entire pass right here, it was pretty flat, pretty decent. But then later on, it was getting a little high again. I don't know. This side was difficult because all this fucking seam sealer kept catching on fire. Pretty easy way to remove it though. Once it catches on fire and melts, it just comes right off. It smells kind of bad, but you know, one way to get it done. So, you know, does the job. It's a patch. So, move the neck out of the way. Now it's hiding back here. I'm gonna put a shield over it, maybe a towel or something. It's a fucking pain in the ass because I had to take both the hoses off to get the thing down here and then plug them back in and everything. I'm obviously gonna wait a little while because I did let some fumes out, so I'm not gonna be making any sparks just yet. But everything is tight and I don't smell any gas anymore. So now we can get to most of this and still have enough room that I won't immediately catch the hoses on fire or blow my Jeep up. So, progress. Okay, this area is cut out. Kind of tricky. Couldn't really get the grinder or the cutting wheel in there, and you can't really go in from the bottom. So for this, I just used a chisel. Since the metal was soft in most places, I just fucking hammered it along the edges and kind of cut it as I went. Got all this fucking shit out. Not as easy as a cutting wheel, but still gets the job done. So I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do on this side. I grinded this down to see where all the real deep rust was. This is right on the frame rail. So I might cut this whole section out and do this whole piece. If you notice, these two mounting points are for the tire holder thing, the support. So I guess I'll have to cut that whole thing out and hopefully it'll be all level and it'll mount correctly again. So I'll have to see what I want to cut out and start cutting. Fuck this fucking piece of shit. God damn it. Okay. Noticing some rust here, it's kind of bothering me a little bit. I'm not sure how to feel about that. It's like... I'll have to look in there and see what the hell's going on. Fuck. Painted that up. Got this piece. I'm gonna have this slide in between the two sheets of metal here, where the floor and the upper part are. So I have this one sit underneath for the most part. This one over here, I'm still deciding how I'm going to do this, what's got to get cut. But I don't know if I'm going to cut this all off or what. I'll have to see. And there we have it. One completed piece. One more to go. Yeah, you get the idea. More panels are going in. And just like that, it's finished. Wowzers. Nothing too special to talk about here. You know, it's a panel, it's welded in. Okay, now, this marks the end of big panels, I hope. So now, I'm just worrying about all the little things. See something here that'll have to get fixed up. There are some holes here and there, but they're all pretty tiny. So, I'm gonna figure out what to do with them, clear most of this junk out of the way, and I'll figure out just how much is left to do. But I don't know, if I work diligently, maybe I'll actually have this thing finished today. Who knows? Okay, so cleaned out the back. Now I'm just grinding, wire wheeling, hammering, seeing what's wrong, just to see how bad some of this stuff is. So there's lots of little holes. This wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be once I grinded it off. Most of this stuff was just kind of surface. There's a little hole over here. So I might focus on some of the bigger pieces and cut out some sections. But a lot of the sections I'm just going to hammer up as much as I can until it's solid, and probably just weld a little tiny piece over top of it. So, I'm going to start cutting and shit. Oh man. So, we got that patched. Got a little patch there. Got a whole bunch of little things. All the little tiny ones you see, I just filled in with weld. It wasn't actually that hard. You just build up a little tiny line around the edge so you don't burn through the metal, and then you just fill it in. But I kind of just made a bunch of little panels, cut them out, fucking welded away. So the only one that's left is that one over there, and the only reason that's not done yet is because I just ran out of more of this fucking wire. So that kind of sucks. But yeah, I guess I'll have to pick up another pound, put that in, and that should be everything. I should be done. Then I just gotta grind it all down. So, happy days. Happy days indeed. Okay, that stupid little piece is finally done. This piece is finally done. Filled in that little hole. So, I think that means the back's done. Awesome. So, thanks for watching this wonderful ride of welding. It was a pain in the ass, but I'm glad it's done. So, now we can move on to grinding and preparing for bed lining. Ooh, that sounds fun.